Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys back up to my channel. And today is Friday, which means it's time for another Melanin Chat. If you're wondering what the heck is a Melanin Matters Chat, why you so hype about it, basically I have been using these chats in 2020 as a way to vent and hold myself accountable. We've talked about finding a therapist. We've talked about journaling. We've talked about habits, habit building, habit routines. We talked about that kind of stuff. We talked about depression, coping in quarantine. Talked about all of that. Also talked about my personal depression and the things that I've been personally dealing with. And so I just like doing this. It's almost like I'm just sitting down in a room and admitting to everybody that I got issues, and then everybody being like, sis, we got issues too. So I just like keep going. And today we are going to talk about self-doubt and the things that I have been actively trying to do to stop myself from so much self-doubt. Now, I do want to remind you guys, obviously I am not a professional. I am only talking about the things that I've experienced and the things that I am doing, just in hopes that it just makes it more relatable, because we don't always talk about the negatives that go on just with living. And so I just want to normalize it, that it's okay to experience these things. But if these are things that you are currently experiencing and you feel like it's so unbearable for you and you don't have answers, like, I do highly suggest seeking out a therapist or a pastor or someone you can trust. And if you are worried about therapy cost, and if you are a person with insurance, always remember to check out what your insurance provides. They might even pay for a couple of sessions. And I know that's not like the best answer, but you know, it's better than nothing. So with all of my disclaimers out the way, obviously, only reason that I'm talking about this is because I started my business in 2018. And for those people who are around, they know that I just acted like everything was good. Like I had it down pat, no worries, your girl had it, cause I'm me. Everything I do business works well, all that. Well, fast forward to 2020 and my business got a little more traffic, like a lot more traffic. Not even let me stop and pretending. Got a lot more traffic than I thought I was going to have. And so I really just immediately hit self-doubt, probably around April or May. Well, actually it was around June, because June of 2020 was a lot of performative actions by people trying to say basically that they're not racist. And one of the side effects of that was that I got a lot of traction in my shop, which was great. Like, I'm not going to complain about that. But one of the things that kind of threw me off was that I was getting sales, and then I was getting messages from some of these customers like, I saw your Instagram post about racism and this is just so wrong. And like, I can't believe this is still happening. So it was like, in a way, what I was looking at as success, like I had turned it into my brain as them just appeasing their conscience rather than actually finding my products valuable. So that's example one. Example two is that I've been working on a reading planner most of 2020. As you guys know, I announced it in October and then actually put up the pre-sale and stuff in November. And so I almost did not release the planner. Like, I actually have footage that I never released to you guys where I'm just crying because I genuinely did not feel like my work was good enough to be sold, that like people would actually want to buy what I make. That's example two. example 3 is that this year I planned all of the themes that I want to release through the year so that I know what I'm working on. And I've been trying to set deadlines for myself, and I'm still failing with that, but that's a whole other video. Excuse me. And I have had moments where I sit down to work and I am paralyzed and kind of unable to finish drawings or turn in submissions to manufacturers for products that I want to get made, because I just get this feeling of, I get imposter syndrome really bad, or I get this idea, it's like, maybe I'm playing myself. Like, maybe this is always going to be a side business. Like, maybe it's going to just be a burden. Like, maybe it's never really going to make me enough money to do anything. So these are all different forms of self-doubt. No, this is not anxiety. Your anxiety can be reflected in your self-doubt, but I don't necessarily attribute my self-doubt to my anxiety. I attribute my self-doubt to my perfectionism and my impatience, because I feel like I'm the ish. So that means that I feel like my stuff should just be sold out. Like, I have no idea, like, why is my stuff not selling out like everybody else's? Like, my stuff is bomb because I made it. So there's like an ego thing into that, but the self-doubt part is something that I have to actively work on. I'm constantly trying to put myself in lower categories than where I belong. And I say that in the sense of, I have a tendency to downplay myself and downplay my abilities. And the only reason that I can sit here and say this today is because this is something that is an active process. This is not something that, like, I've done once and then it just fixes everything. I gave you examples that span across a year. So this is something that obviously is a reoccurring, something that I have to keep readjusting, and something that I have to keep reaffirming with myself. So I just kind of want to talk to you guys about, like, I think it's 6 I wrote down. No, it's 5 things that I'm doing to cope with anxiety, cope with my self-doubt, not my anxiety. Anxiety is a different video. So the first thing that I really had to do, like, I don't know if this is something other people do, but I have a tendency to, I'm a perfectionist. So I get mad when I have feelings that are opposed to the greatness that I say that I am, in the sense of self-doubt. So for self-doubt, I had to accept that I'm human. I'm allowed to have these feelings, and, like, these feelings are not alien. These are natural. Like, this is kind of just what happens when you're taking yourself out of your comfort zone to do something. You experience these kind of things, and it's okay. And I mean, there were points where I would not even cry because I was mad at myself for crying because it didn't solve anything. So I allow myself grace to feel all of my emotions. I don't let anybody tell me that I can't feel my emotions. I feel them. I feel them for however long I need to feel them. And then I just go on about my business, because accepting it as just a part of the human process, it just makes it less personal, in the sense that, like, you're not the only one that this happens to. This is normal, and this is okay. Like, this is not a definition of you, and this is not something that will define you if you don't let it, because this is something that is conquerable. You are not the only one. So I kind of just have to put that in perspective for myself. Number 2 involves my journal, and if I get to a point where I realize I've been sitting at my desk and I've accomplished nothing, and it's been like an hour or 2 hours, then I accept the fact that I have to pause. I accept the fact that I have to stop working and I have to check my mind. Because by that point, I've probably already created all of these different scenarios in my brain about why my self-doubt is validated. So I pull out my journal and I list my doubts and my fears. And then I rank them. I rank them by how much they bother me. And then in the same page, I write why they are not true in a different color, usually purple, because purple is my favorite color. So usually in purple, I will write, for example, I don't think my products are good enough, or I don't think my reading planner was good enough, and like people aren't gonna buy it, and like what if I bought all this product and like nobody buys it? What am I supposed to do? One, that's a part of business. There are ups and downs in business, and it's okay. Two, girl, your planner sold out twice and you did 2 pre-sales. Shut up. So I kind of just have to like I am my biggest critic, but I'm also my biggest cheerleader. And I have to literally remind myself, like, in your mind, you thought that you were just going to start it and just be amazing, because I'm pretty good at a lot of things that I do, and that's what happens. But running a business does not work like that. I have been putting in work, and sometimes I do not see the reciprocation. And I know that that just is that's a part of the process. And I have to remind myself, like, it did not sell out, but it sold. And it might have been the best thing that you sold so far. Or your engagement sucked, but like, this is the most comments you've gotten on a video. Or, God, I'm going to be fat forever. And it's like, no, actually, you've worked out 6 times this week and you burned this many calories. You stayed on meal plan. I have to remind myself that the little habits that I've been doing to make myself or my business better, like those little habits will compound onto each other, and that will show my hard work eventually. Like, it is a patience game sometimes, and you just have to be okay with that. And again, it's okay to have self-doubt, and it's not okay to let that self-doubt just stop you from living. Number 3, because I am team extra, obviously, sometimes I have to send the bat signal out to my support crew. And my support crew is my family and my friends. And I call on them for different reasons, I guess is the best way to put it. I have friends who tell me straight up, shut up, you tripping. I have my mom and dad who always kind of remind me, like, this is something that I prayed to God about, and that I'm doing what I asked, and like God provides. And then I have my sisters who be like, my big sister is a baddie. She can do all this. It's ratchet. It's really inappropriate, but it's funny and I need it. I also have my girlfriends that are always ready with the support. They'll provide critiques. They will let me know they're ready to put their money where their mouth is. Like, the females in my life, family and friends, are like the foundation of my support. Like, I have male friends, they're cool or whatever, and some of them really understand like me. Like, it's like maybe one. He gets me, he doesn't have a choice. But like very few. And so if I'm calling them and I tell them, like, I'm having a moment right now where like I don't feel good enough, and I will get the barrage of all of their different translations of what that means to give me back, and it's really nice. So I still say a support system doesn't have to be big. A support system has to be effective. So just keep, like, I have my support system, and I don't know where I would be without them, because like I said, I live alone, but I'm not always lonely because of my support group. And that's something we will talk about in another video. Number 4 is something that is a little difficult for me, and it is understanding where the self-doubt comes from. So like, my self-doubt can stem from imposter syndrome. It could stem from a lack of understanding something, fear, there are different reasons and different things that will bring out your insecurities and bring out your self-doubt. So sometimes understanding why you are feeling that way gives you the ability to kind of counteract it. So for example, I want a laser cutter for the business. I have some designs and ideas that I would like to do, but I have been watching a lot of videos about laser cutters, just trying to understand the materials and the things that I will need. And I'm trying to do like a cost analysis on it, but I've never done that before. This would be considered like the biggest piece of equipment that I have for my business. And so I've been researching about businesses and about businesses acquiring equipment and things like that. And because I don't know what I'm doing, I constantly get a moment in my brain where I'm like, what if this is not a good idea? Like, what if this is not a good idea? What am I going to do? Like, this is a lot of money. Like, do I really want to do this? Like, that kind of thing. So because I feel that way, I do research, or I deal with a lot of issues with my weight, obviously, because I don't like the way that I look. I feel like right now in camera, I feel like being this wide is gross. And like, that's just me dealing with my personal stuff. And the reason that I feel that way is because I know that I'm unhealthy. I know that I have body aches and pains that I would not have if I lost a little bit of weight. A lot of weight, not even a little, a lot of weight. Because I don't look as heavy as I am, but I am a lot heavier because thank God he at least let my weight distribute a little bit better than some other people that would be my size. So that translates to self-loathing and just putting myself down and self-doubt and struggle busing, which leads me to number 5, and number 5 is the most important. Number 5 is I stop the cycle. So basically what this means is I allow myself to feel my feelings of self-doubt. I allow myself to feel it, to understand where it's coming from, to write it down, to acknowledge it, to fight it. But I cannot stay in that self-loathing circle for too long, because if I let myself sit in that self-doubt and tell myself all the reasons why I'm not good enough to do what I want to do, I will kind of spiral. And not like a spiral where it's just on like my self-doubt. I will spiral. Everything that I am insecure about will come up and somehow mesh themselves in. And by the end of it, I'll be like laid on the floor with a blanket, watching TV, just like extremely mad at the world. And like, I don't want to do that. So there's somebody outside again. Basically, what I'm saying is I just keep learning how to love myself. And it's extremely difficult. Because I might have to do this routine of mine multiple times a day or a week, and I can scroll back in my journal and kind of see the repeating feelings, which is another reason why I always keep telling you guys, like, journaling has saved my life. Journaling can show you patterns. Journaling can show you growth. It can show you stagnant. It can show you so much. And if you're like me, and I'm also weird, and I don't even think I'm weird, but I actually write, like, if I want to pray, I don't feel as connected when I just close my eyes and pray. And I guess we'll talk about my spirituality and stuff later, but I write down my prayers, and sometimes I go back and look at, like, what am I praying for? Because I kind of remind myself, like, what do I want to do? Because then I also pray about my self-doubt, and I pray about what's keeping me from doing what I want to do. And so self-doubt has been kicking my little butt. I have projects that I've been working on already for 2021, and I'm actually behind schedule because my March stuff is supposed to be done by now. But and the thing is, the stuff that I worked on is really, really cute. But when it came down to trying to decide what kind of products it was going to be, I was literally hit with an immediate feeling of imposter. And it's crazy because I don't think I've seen anybody draw what I drew, and I was really proud of them until it came down to trying to decide the products, and like I just froze. And I was literally just like, what if I'm the only person who likes these? Or like, what if my mom and my friends are the only people that like these? What if other people don't like these? Like, what am I supposed to do? So yeah, I'm just reminding you guys, like, these videos are for me as much as they are for you. So again, thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. I think I've rambled on enough. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. And until the next time, guys, bye.